It's something I'm going to put up here. We are doing kinetic energy. We are focusing on the calculations. Many people find physics difficult, and there are a couple of reasons why. Why I can't move that, I don't know, but I'll try to. It's just not moving. Why not? Oh, is it locked in or something? Oh, long press to unlock. There we go. That's why it's not moving. Okay, so the reasons people find physics hard, one, they don't understand the language, and that's the entire point I'm talking to you about this. Kinetic energy is the energy associated with movement and mass, specifically movement, things that are moving, bodies that are moving. So I'm going to talk to you like that. Okay, so the most important thing in advanced maths and physics is layout is king. I've just been doing some work with year 13 in Malaysia this morning, and there was one student irrelevant to year 13, so they're 18 years old, 17, 18, getting ready for their A levels, irrelevant to them getting the questions right or wrong. If the layout is not right, I just put a red mark through it. And do you know what? No, I can't show you it. I was about to show you the work, but it won't. So layout is king. Get your layout right. That's all I'm interested in. I am not interested in any way. Well, somebody keeps donging, and I think they just keep falling off. But there you go. I am not interested in anywhere in your answer. If your answer is right or wrong, I don't care. I am focusing on your layout. Layout is king. So, just as a reminder, and I don't expect, even if you got this right last week, I don't expect you to get all of this right. I don't expect you to remember anything. If you remember something, and especially when I say it, you'll go, oh, I remember that from last week. Okay. So, looking at kinetic energy, this is, let me see again, that's Mercy. This is the formula that you'll be using for kinetic energies. Kinetic energy, and I write it as EK. All right? EK. Energy or kinetic energy written that way. Doesn't matter which way I write it. You can just write in words. Kinetic energy equals to half mv squared. Now, we must be very precise and specific, and I'm going to talk to you about a few things. One thing that people don't really understand is that velocity is a vector, speed is a scalar. So what do I mean by these crazy words, and how does it relate to you? All right, so you'll see a lot of people teaching this, or you'll see some YouTube videos and stuff like this. Velocity is a vector. All right, what is vector? And speed is a scale. What's a scale? All right, speed is scalar means it tells you the magnitude. So you'll hear these words, right? So a scalar is magnitude, and a vector is magnitude and direction. And they'll stop at that. It's like, what? Yeah, I can say it, but deep down I don't get it. So how does it relate to what we're looking at? How does it relate to the things that we're doing? All right. So speed, I want to talk about speed in physics is always meters per second. It's not miles per hour or kilometers per hour. It's always meters per second. So you'll get used to that. The second thing is, well, what does this mean? So if I give you speed, I tell you I'm going at 5 meters per second. All right, so what does that mean? It means I am moving at 5 meters per second. Fine. That's how fast you are going. The size, the magnitude of your speed. All right, fine. Right. I'm going at 5 meters per second. So how is a vector different? Well, it gives me direction. Related to you as year 7, what does that mean? All right. So if I turn around and say speed equals 5 meters per second, all you know is I'm going at 5 meters per second. 5, see, there's a meters per second. Well then, how's vector different? Now, I can give you speed in 2 ways and change it to a vector. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, I can give you it as a positive number, 5 meters per second. If this is velocity, this means on your page, you are moving to your right. Okay? So if I say the velocity is 5 meters per second and it's a positive number, you're moving to your right. This, if it's speed, doesn't tell you that. It just tells you you are moving at 5 meters per second. Right, left, up, down, it doesn't tell you. We can also give you velocity as a negative number, minus 5 meters per second. That means I am moving to the left of my paper. Okay, now you don't need this for the calculation. You just need to know the units are the same. That's it. All right. Now going back, so that is an explanation of the difference between velocity and speed. There is a significant difference and it makes a huge difference. And as you progress through physics, you're going to find out how and why. The main reason being you can look at a picture and for cars moving to your right, it's got a positive velocity. For cars moving to your left, it's got a negative velocity. All right. So coming back to kinetic energy has the equation half mv squared. What does that mean? And I'll see this step by step. All right. So you have to use a calculator. Never do this without a calculator. Kinetic energy is half times m. Well, what is m? M is mass. The unit for mass in physics is always kilograms. It gets a bit annoying because in chemistry it's always grams. But in physics it's always kilograms. You can only work in kilograms. Always kilograms. Mass. Right? Some of you might want to call that weight. That's because you're speaking in English. You're not speaking in physics. Weight is not in kilograms. Mass is kilograms. All right. Times velocity squared. Now, you can either write it as velocity squared and put it into your calculator, or you can write it as v times v. I don't mind which one. All right. So either one. So if we write it like this, and actually, I prefer if you write like this because I don't know what your maths is like. I don't know if you've done square numbers. You may have done them in primary. You may have done them in year 7. I don't know. So half times m times v times v. So I'm going to do question 1. It says, right, a ball of mass 2 kilograms moves at 3 meters per second. Find its kinetic energy. Right, let me just make a pen small. So what I want to see is first things first, write out properly kinetic energy. However you want to write it, I like that. It's half mv squared. This is your first. You don't do this, I will mark your work wrong. And you do it for every question. Next step, EK equals half times m times v times v. Lovely jubbly. Now that's Emma's little Emma in. Next step, all right, you go back to your question, you underline it. A ball of mass, 2 kilograms, moves at 3 meters per second. This is velocity. I know it's moving to my right. How do I know it's moving to my right? It's a ball. I'm going to draw it as a ball. On my page, it's going that way. Well, how do I know it's going to right? It's positive. All right. It doesn't matter in this question, but there you go. Actually, it doesn't matter in any of your questions, but we're fine. So now we substitute. That means you change the letters to the numbers that are giving you, half times. Well, what is m? Well, m stands for mass. Well, they gave us mass. Well, what was it? Well, it was 2. There it is, 2. Half times 2. So I've changed, substitute m for 2. Times velocity. Well, what's velocity? 3. This is velocity, 3. And I'm going to have to do a times and write velocity again. At this point, this is not arithmetic. You pop that in your calculator. So your kinetic energy is going to be 9 joules. That's it. The unit for energy is joules. 9 joules. I've done number 1. Well, hey, this is being neat. I've put a grid on. I always put a grid on. Keep it neat. Look at my work. My equal signs are directly underneath each other. My work is beautiful. My teacher drove me insane for a year and a half making me write neatly like that. Okay? And it worked wonders. It worked absolute wonders for not only my maths, but my science and everything. Sweethearts, that is question 1 done. I'm 9 minutes, a bit about right. And you've got to finish all these questions written out like that. If you get past them written out like that, written out like this. I want it written out like this. Number 10 is the same, but they are worded questions. All right. Neatness, neatness, neatness.